The Concrete Conspiracy, a Fight for Justice. The backyard was silent, save for the faint hum of cicadas in the August heat. I stood frozen, staring at the gray slab where my daughter Emily's pool once sparkled. Cold, unyielding concrete buried the place where her laughter used to echo, where summer barbecues brought our neighborhood together. My hand shook as Linda Harper, president of the Meadowview Estates HOA, stepped forward, her voice dripping with smug satisfaction. "Your pool's gone, Tom. Safety violations don't fly here." Her words weren't just a taunt, they were a declaration of war. What Linda didn't know was that I held the key to unraveling her empire, and it was buried in the pipes beneath our quiet suburb. I'm Tom Sullivan, a 52-year-old water systems engineer for the city of Fairhaven, Virginia. For 15 years, I've mapped every pipe and valve feeding our town, a job that paid for the split-level ranch where Emily took her first steps. After her accident 2 years ago, a storm, an icy road, a tragedy that stole her from May rebuilt her beloved pool. It was more than a project. It was a way to keep her memory alive. Kids like Timmy Larson from next door would stop by, eyes wide, asking, "When can we swim, Mr. Sullivan?" But that Tuesday, instead of blue tiles, I found a concrete tomb. Linda emerged from behind my shed, clutching a folder like a shield. At 47, she carried herself with the cold precision of a corporate lawyer, her blonde bob flawless despite the humidity. "Section 12.4.4 of our guidelines," she said, handing me papers stamped with the HOA seal. "Pools over 4 feet deep require permits you didn't have." Her smile was all teeth, no warmth. I scanned the documents, my anger rising. The rules had been changed a week ago in a secret meeting I was never told about. My pool, at 5.5 feet, was well within the old 6-foot limit. This was personal. Then I saw him, Greg Thornton, the HOA vice president, watching from my property line. At 50, Greg had the build of a retired linebacker, his gray buzz cut and steely eyes screaming ex-military. He handed Linda a GPS device and spoke in clipped tones about infrastructure projects. Their exchange felt scripted, heavy with unspoken meaning. As Greg's gaze locked onto the concrete, I realized this wasn't about safety. They were hiding something big. The next morning, I met Ellen Carter, my old college friend and the HOA treasurer, at her kitchen table. At 51, Ellen's sharp mind for numbers was unmatched, but her usual warmth was gone, replaced by worry. "Tom, I've been digging into the HOA finances," she whispered, spreading out spreadsheets. "Over 6 months, we've paid $400,000 to a company called Nexus Solutions LLC for infrastructure consulting. That's more than our entire budget." She showed me checks to a Delaware P.O. box, a classic shell company setup. Then she dropped the bombshell, a $2.3 million payment for Project Bedrock, funded by mysterious deposits labeled community grants. None of it added up. Ellen's voice trembled as she showed me a map from the HOA files, marked with 47 GPS coordinates, me house circled in red. Titled Project Bedrock, Phase 1, it suggested something sinister beneath our streets. My gut told me Linda and Greg were using the HOA as a front, and my pool was collateral damage. By Wednesday, I was in the city archives, pulling utility blueprints for Meadowview. What I found chilled me. Beneath our tidy lawns ran a web of unauthorized pipes, converging under my backyard. This wasn't city work, it was a shadow infrastructure, built with expertise and millions. My pool hadn't been filled to enforce rules. It was to protect whatever lay beneath. Ellen called that night, her voice low. Nexus Solutions is part of a network moving $20 million through HOAs across 3 states. She showed me emails Greg hadn't deleted, coded messages about Tel Aviv coordination and Gaza supply lines. Greg wasn't just skimming funds, she was running an international operation. A quick search of his name turned up 2019 articles linking a Gregory Thornton to uncharged arms trafficking in Syria. Meadowview was no random target. Its wealth and location near shipping routes made it perfect for his scheme. The stakes skyrocketed when Ellen's car crashed Thursday. "My brakes failed, Tom," she said from her hospital bed. "Someone cut the lines." She handed me a flash drive with every document she'd copied. "If I resign, take this to the feds." Her fear was palpable. Greg was tying up loose ends. Friday brought a cryptic email. "Your friend Ellen shared your concerns. Meet me at Riverside Park, bench 5, 3 p.m. Come alone. Emily's memory deserves justice." I met Agent Daniel Brooks, a Department of Defense investigator in his mid-40s, his plain clothes masking a sharp intensity. "You're onto something bigger than a crooked HOA," he said, showing satellite images of heat signatures under Meadowview homes, including mine. "Greg Thornton's running a weapons trafficking network, supplying Israeli contractors for Gaza conflicts. Your pool sat over his server room, holding all his records." The truth hit like a freight train. Every HOA dollar funded weapons killing families children Emily's age. Greg had buried my pool to hide evidence, not to punish me. Brooks revealed that Project Bedrock had moved $47 million in arms, with profits laundered through our community fund. Saturday, I reviewed my security footage and found Greg surveying my yard weeks before the concrete pour, using ground-penetrating radar with two strangers. His animated phone call, possibly in Arabic, confirmed he saw my pool as a strategic asset, not a hazard. I knew I had to act fast. Monday, Linda escalated. Her viral Facebook post painted me as an unhinged widower harassing neighbors, shared 50 times with comments questioning my sanity. At a staged press conference, she tear-jerked about protecting families while accusing me of threats I never made. Neighbors I'd known for years like Mrs. Clarkson across the street started avoiding me. Even Timmy's mom, Ellen, had to explain why he couldn't visit Uncle Tom. But Tuesday night, Linda showed up at my door, disheveled and terrified. "Greg's not who I thought," she stammered, clutching a key fob. "I signed checks for weapons, Tom. I saw crates with Arabic writing at the community center." She handed me the FOBA master key to Greg's underground facility and passwords she'd memorized. "We have to stop him tonight." At midnight, I went live on Facebook, Linda by my side, exposing Greg's arms trafficking and the HOA's role. As 200,000 viewers watched, Agent Brooks and the FBI raided Greg's facility using Linda's codes. Helicopters lit up Meadowview as agents uncovered rows of military gear bound for Gaza. Greg was arrested amidst crates of ammunition, snarling at cameras. "Sullivan, you ruined a pipeline for national security." His delusion that profiting from war was patriotic shocked me. 6 months later, in Judge Margaret Ellis's courtroom, Greg was sentenced to 47 years for arms trafficking and conspiracy. His $53 million network was dismantled, with $1.2 million returned to Meadowview for healing. Linda, granted leniency, found redemption volunteering with refugee families impacted by the conflicts she'd unknowingly funded. Ellen recovered and became a key witness, while Timmy processed his trauma through therapy. The restitution funded Emily's Harmony Center, built on Lily's vision from a time capsule Timmy and she buriated drawing of a peace pool for all kids. The center, with its inclusive pool and trauma programs, united our fractured community. Mrs. Clarkson volunteered, and the Johnsons, Emily's old playmates' parents, led fundraisers. At the opening, Timmy dove into the pool, his laughter echoing Emily's. I felt her presence. "Dad, you kept my promise." Emily's memory became a shield for children worldwide, turning a site of greed into a beacon of peace. Meadowview healed, proving love outlasts corruption. Share your thoughts. Have you faced injustice or violence in your community? How did you respond? Drop your story in the comments and take a stand. Let's debate how we can fight for justice together.